Welcome back to the Quarterly Call. All content is for informational purposes and is not investment advice. Please consult with an investment professional. So today we're launching into an analysis of this quarterly update, and it really feels like it's more than just performance numbers, doesn't it? It's like a roadmap for a huge technological shift.
Absolutely. The documents we've looked at, they show this incredible success in the core business, powered by the AI they already have.
Right.
But then there's this dramatic, really aggressive pivot financially, strategically, all towards dominating AI in the future. It's frankly a bit risky.
Yeah, and we really need to break down what these huge investments mean. They're basically reshaping the whole outlook for 2026 and probably well beyond that.
That aggressive spending, that's really the story here. When you boil it all down, there are kind of three big takeaways that really stand out, and they all connect.
Okay.
First, the main goal now is explicitly about building frontier AI. They're not just tweaking current models, they're aiming to pioneer the next level. That's the driving force.
Got it. Frontier AI.
Second, this huge ambition needs just an unbelievable amount of infrastructure spending, like unprecedented. They've had to sharply revise their capital expenditure forecasts upwards, massively.
Wow.
And third, and this is probably, reassuring for anyone watching the company, the current state of the family of apps, the core business, is incredibly strong. It's actually accelerating.
So that provides the cash needed for this big bet.
Exactly. It's the profit engine making this high-stakes gamble possible.
Okay, let's start there then with that foundation, the current health of the community, because the scale numbers are just mind-boggling.
They really are.
The update confirmed, over 3.5 billion people using at least one of their apps every single day?
Yeah. 3.5 billion daily actives. Think about that. That level of daily interaction, it's almost impossible to grasp, and it gives them this feedback loop for their AI systems that nobody else has.
It's a huge competitive advantage, isn't it? Like a moat, as you said.
It's the ultimate training ground. You just can't replicate that data flow. And even within that massive scale, they hit some pretty big internal milestones this quarter.
Like Instagram.
Exactly. Instagram, which, a lot of people might think is kind of plateauing, it just crossed 3 billion monthly active users, MAUs.
3 billion. Wow.
Yeah. So it shows they're still expanding their reach, even in places where they're already huge.
And Threads, the newer platform.
Yeah.
Seems like it's got real momentum.
It does. It officially passed 150 million daily active users.
Okay, 150 million DAUs.
Yeah.
Still small compared to Facebook or Instagram, obviously.
But reaching that level of daily engagement in its category, it suggests it's definitely not just, a flash in the pan, it's sticking.
Right, it kind of proves they can still use that massive network effect to launch new things successfully.
Totally. And management sounds really confident that Threads is on a path to be a leader in its space.
Yeah.
The key thing here is that combination. You've got the enormous scale and you've got momentum and growth.
So the core business isn't just stable, it's actually accelerating engagement.
Exactly. And that acceleration generates the massive cash flow they need. Without this super healthy foundation, these multi-billion-dollar AI projects spanning years, they'd be impossible to fund without, tons of debt or diluting shareholders.
So the scale, the current success, it's basically the economic engine for this whole strategic pivot we're about to get into.
Precisely. It powers everything else.
Okay, so that engine is definitely running hot. Which brings us to this huge shift in strategy. Let's talk about this pursuit of, superintelligence.
Yeah. The number one goal, stated very clearly now, is to make the company the world's leading frontier AI lab.
It's a fundamental shift, isn't it? Not just a tech company using AI, but an AI company that happens to have social apps for distribution.
That's a great way to put it. And the ultimate aim is building what they call personal superintelligence for everyone.
Personal superintelligence for everyone. That's quite a phrase. What does that even mean in practice?
Well, it's loaded, right? It suggests something way beyond current chatbots. Think of an integrated, always-on AI assistant with real reasoning power. Something that can handle complex real-world stuff, learn about you specifically, and proactively help billions of people.
A truly massive long-term goal.
Generational, really. And the structure they've set up for this is the MSL Initiative Meta Superintelligence Labs.
So how are they planning to actually win this race? Because building superintelligence, that's a global competition with huge players.
Their big bet is on talent density. Management made a point of saying MSL has the highest talent density in the industry.
Okay, that's a bold claim.
It is. It's an internal claim, obviously, but it signals they think they're succeeding in poaching and consolidating the very best AI researchers and engineers. They lure them in with the promise of basically unlimited compute resources and access to those 3.5 billion users for deployment.
What's interesting, though, is they're chasing this super advanced, potentially world-changing tech, but they're sticking with this open source philosophy. That feels contradictory. Why give away the secrets?
It's a very calculated move. By pushing open source AI forward, yeah, innovation spreads, which is good, generally, but strategically, it encourages this huge ecosystem to build on top of their foundational models.
Oh, okay. So if everyone's using their base layer.
Exactly. It creates a tidal wave of developers, researchers, companies, all using their architecture that speeds up development, finds problems faster, and kind of locks their models in as the standard. It creates this gravitational pull that helps them recruit more talent and makes their next models even better.
Right, it becomes the default.
Pretty much. And we heard that MSL is deep in development right now on these next-gen models and products. They hinted more details are coming in the next few months.
So this isn't just some abstract research goal anymore. It's the top priority driving all the big spending decisions.
Absolutely. And achieving that level of AI capability, it forces them to rethink the very nature of the content on their platforms. Management laid out this really interesting idea about 3 eras of content.
Okay, what were they?
So era 1 was the early days. Content mostly from your friends, family, accounts you directly followed. Kind of a closed network.
Right, your immediate circle.
Era 2 was the arrival of the creator economy. Suddenly, there's all this professional content from people you don't know personally. That expanded the content universe massively.
And that's when the algorithms, the recommendation engines became super important.
Exactly. The feed wasn't just chronological anymore. It had to become a discovery engine, finding interesting stuff outside your bubble. That's what drove Instagram's huge growth, really.
Okay, so Era 1 friends, Era 2 creators. What's Era 3?
Era 3 is driven by the output of these AI labs we're talking about. It's this enormous, ever-growing ocean of AI-created and AI-remixed content. This is where generative AI doesn't just help make content, it fundamentally changes what your feed even is.
Wow. Like personalized content made just for you,
Yeah.
on the fly.
Yeah, imagine high-quality interactive stuff generated instantly based on your interests or surfaced proactively by an AI that really understands you. The sheer volume and complexity of content is just going to explode.
And the implication of that is?
The implication is profound. The recommendation systems have to get exponentially smarter. Era 1, recommending was easy. Era 2, it got hard. But Era 3, where the content universe is basically infinite human stuff mixed with trillions of AI variations, the recommender needs almost superintelligence itself.
To filter, understand, rank all that potential content.
Right. It needs better reasoning, much better context understanding, and this is the crucial link. Vastly, vastly more compute power to handle that complexity.
Okay, so that connection, the infinite AI content era needing frontier AI recommenders, that's the ultimate justification for this insane spending pivot.
That's it. That's why the infrastructure spending suddenly looks like a hockey stick graph.
Right, let's get into that spending then. Section 3, the compute commitment. This strategy they're calling front-loading capacity. What's the thinking there?
Front-loading is the key phrase, yeah. And it's definitely a calculated gamble. It means spending colossal amounts of money right now to build and secure data centers and servers that they might not actually use to their full capacity for, maybe several years.
Why do that? Why spend so much so early?
It ties directly back to the uncertainty around when superintelligence might actually arrive. Some experts think it could be just a few years away. Others are saying, 5, 7, maybe even longer.
So by front-loading, they're betting on the optimistic timeline, making sure they're ready if it happens fast.
Exactly. They're insuring themselves against that scenario. If the breakthrough happens in, say, 2 years, boom, they have the infrastructure ready to roll it out to billions of users instantly. They capture that crucial first-mover advantage.
Okay, that makes sense strategically. But financially, what's the risk? What if it takes 7 years? Are they just sitting on billions in depreciating assets?
That's the natural question. And they have a contingency plan. And it's actually a pretty strong one, which helps justify the spend even if the superintelligence timeline slips.
What's the backup plan?
They were very clear. If the frontier AI stuff takes longer, that extra compute capacity gets immediately pointed towards accelerating the core business.
The current apps and ads.
Yeah. And they specifically said the core business is currently compute-starved. Even though it's hugely profitable, it could be even better with more power.
Compute starved. That's interesting. What does that mean for platforms that are already so massive?
It means that, yeah, their current AI systems are good, very optimized, but they know they could get way better results if they could just run bigger models, crunch more data, retrain the algorithms more often.
So more compute for the recommendation engine means better content, better ads.
Exactly. Better content quality, better predictions of what you want to see, more effective ad targeting. All that leads to more time spent, better ad prices today. So the investment isn't purely speculative.
Right. It generates a return either way, either through the huge leap to superintelligence later or through boosting the already profitable core business now.
Precisely. The worst case, as they described it, is they pre-build for a couple of years, eat some depreciation costs on slightly underused gear, and then just grow into that capacity over time.
So the potential upside of being ready early for the AI revolution massively outweighs the downside cost of carrying that extra infrastructure for a bit. It's a high-stakes calculation.
Huge stakes. The potential return, if they nail that early superintelligence timeline, is astronomical. It justifies the immediate financial pain.
And the pain is significant. Let's look at the numbers. 2025 capital expenditures jumped way up, right?
Sharply increased. The forecast is now between $70 billion and $72 billion for 2025.
70 to $72 billion.
Yeah, that's a quantum leap from previous forecasts. It screams urgency. They need AI servers, networking gear, data center space now.
And just when you absorb that number, the forecast for 2026 suggests they're not letting up at all.
Not even close. The acceleration continues. They explicitly said CapEx dollar growth in 2026 is expected to be notably larger than the huge 2025 number.
Notably larger than $70+ billion.
Wow. Yeah. We're talking about sustained, incredibly aggressive spending that's going to define their financials for at least the next 2 years.
And all that CapEx, that building of assets, that leads directly to higher operating expenses too, right?
Absolutely. The CapEx is the upfront cost, but then you have the ongoing costs. Total expenses for 2026 are expected to grow at a significantly faster percentage rate than even the fast growth in 2025.
What's driving that expense growth specifically?
Two main things. First, the infrastructure costs themselves. You've got the massive depreciation hit from that $70+ billion in new assets hitting the books, plus data center operating costs, maintenance, and importantly, soaring costs for using third-party cloud providers to plug immediate capacity gaps.
So cloud spending is up too.
Significantly.
Yeah.
And second, employee costs. They're now carrying the full year cost of all that expensive AI talent they hired throughout 2025. Remember that talent density push? Those folks aren't cheap.
Right. The MSL teams.
Exactly. Top-tier AI researchers and engineers demand top dollar.
So the scale of investment is huge, and the need for capacity just keeps growing, even faster than they expected last quarter.
It seems so. Which brings us to how they're managing this financially while trying to stay flexible. That joint venture, the JV, with Blue Owl for the Louisiana data center, that's a key piece of financial engineering.
Okay, yeah, let's break that down. Why do a JV, and how does it affect the CapEx numbers we were just talking about?
So normally, if they build a data center themselves, 100% of the construction cost hits their books as CapEx as it's being built. It inflates that big CapEx number.
Okay.
By doing this JV, they partner with an external capital provider, Blue Owl in this case. Blue Owl puts up a chunk of the money for the physical building. The company still gets the long-term use of the data center, but they don't have to fund the entire construction cost upfront themselves.
Ah, so it changes how it shows up on the financial statements.
Big time. The key thing is, the majority of the construction costs for that specific data center won't be recorded as CapEx on their main statement going forward.
So where does it go?
Their share, their contribution, which is about 20% of the remaining construction costs for that site, gets recorded under other investing cash flows. It's a different line item.
Okay, so this accounting move frees up the main CapEx budget for
the really critical specialized stuff. The AI servers, the advanced networking gear, the custom hardware needed for frontier AI. They secure the physical building space they need using external capital while focusing their own massive CapEx budget on the actual AI horsepower.
Clever. It lets them secure long-term capacity options without having the entire cost hit that main CapEx line immediately.
Exactly. It's about financial flexibility while still locking down the necessary physical footprint.
Okay, that shift from spending aggressively for the future back to how these investments are paying off today, that's what makes this story so interesting. Let's move to Section 4, the core business engine. How are the current AI systems driving performance right now?
This is where the investment thesis really gets validated in the short term. The improvements from their existing AI, the ranking, the recommendations, they're translating directly into more engagement. Global time spent actually accelerated in Q3.
Accelerated on platforms that big.
Yeah. Facebook was up 5% year over year in time spent globally. Instagram also saw acceleration. Getting growth acceleration on mature platforms of that scale is incredibly difficult. It shows the AI improvements are really working.
And even Threads saw a big jump.
Huge jump from AI optimization alone. Time spent on Threads was up 10% just in Q3, purely from ranking improvements they rolled out.
Wow, 10% in one quarter.
It shows the compute they do have is being used more and more effectively. And video continues to be a monster growth driver. Video time spent on Instagram is up over 30% compared to last year.
30%.
And that engagement flows right through to money. Reels isn't just catching up anymore, it's a massive revenue generator. It's now running at an annual rate of over $50 billion.
$50 billion run rate for Reels ads. That's phenomenal scaling.
It really is. It shows the power of that underlying AI monetization engine when they turn it on for a new surface. And they're constantly tuning the core feeds too.
Like with Reels freshness.
Yeah, on Facebook, the AI systems are now surfacing twice as many Reels that were published that same day compared to the start of the year. Keeping content fresh is vital for engagement.
Stops the feed getting stale.
Exactly. It proves the current AI is delivering immediate ROI, keeping people hooked.
Okay, shifting over to the ad side directly. The performance there seems to confirm AI is just everything now.
It's the primary driver, absolutely. They mentioned the annual run rate for ad campaigns that are completely end-to-end AI-powered, where the advertiser basically just provides the creative, and the goal has passed $60 billion.
$60 billion run rate for fully automated ads. So advertisers are embracing this let the AI handle it approach.
Massively. And the market metrics back that up. The average price per ad went up 10% year over year.
Price up 10%,
Yeah.
but didn't impressions also grow?
They did. Impression volume grew 14%. Normally, when you flood the market with more ad slots, higher impressions, you'd expect prices to go down.
Right, supply and demand.
But here, both price and volume went up together. That strongly suggests the ads are performing much better. Advertisers are seeing better results, more conversions, higher ROI, so they're willing to bid more, even with more ads available. The AI is delivering real value.
So what are the technical upgrades making this happen? They talked about model unification, consolidating models.
Yeah, that's a big ongoing effort. Instead of having lots of small, specialized AI models for different parts of the ad process, like one for finding potential ads, another for ranking them, another for predicting clicks, they're moving towards fewer, bigger, more general models.
How does combining them help?
Think of it like having one really smart brain versus a committee of specialists who don't talk to each other much. A unified model, like their lattice architecture, can see the whole picture. It can optimize for a more complex goal, like long-term customer value, not just an immediate click. It learns more efficiently from all the data.
And they're seeing results from Lattice already.
Quantifiable results. They rolled out Lattice for app install ads in Q3 and saw a nearly 3% gain in conversions for those campaigns. That's a solid lift just from changing the model architecture.
Plus efficiency gains, presumably. Fewer models to manage.
Huge efficiency gains. They said since 2023, they've cut the total number of ads models by about 100, and they plan to consolidate another 200 over the next few years. Fewer models means less engineering overhead, faster updates, and better overall quality.
Any other big architectural wins? They mentioned Andromeda.
Right, Andromeda was another example. In Q3, they significantly boosted its performance by combining the models that handle ad retrieval, finding relevant ads, and early-stage ranking into one system.
Making one decision instead of two separate ones.
Basically, yeah. It allows the model to use a richer set of information earlier in the process. The result, a 14% increase in ads quality metrics on Facebook.
14% improvement in ad quality just from that change. That's huge.
It's massive, purely from making the AI architecture smarter and more unified.
And all these behind-the-scenes improvements feed into the tools advertisers actually use, like the Advantage Plus suite.
Exactly. Advantage Plus is where advertisers experience this AI power directly. It simplifies everything. In Q3, they finished rolling out the streamlined setup for Advantage Plus lead campaigns globally.
So the AI handles targeting, bidding, placement.
Pretty much everything. The advertiser gives the goal and the creative, the AI does the optimization, and it works. Advertisers using Advantage Plus for lead generation are seeing, on average, a 14% lower cost per lead.
That's a tangible benefit. A direct saving.
Definitely a strong incentive to adopt the automated tools. And generative AI is now playing a bigger role in creating the ads themselves, not just placing them.
Right, beyond just static images.
Yeah. They saw a 20% jump in the adoption of generative video features compared to last quarter. Things like animating a static image or expanding a video's aspect ratio automatically.
And even generating music now.
Yeah, that's a new one. AI-generated music that automatically matches the tone and message of the ad creative. So the AI is getting involved in the actual creative production now, too.
Interesting. Before we move off the core business, what about future monetization? Are there still big untapped areas?
Oh, yeah. They have a standard playbook. Build engagement first, then slowly introduce ads. Threads now has ads running globally in the feed, but it's still early days for optimization there. That's future growth.
And WhatsApp?
WhatsApp status ads are still rolling out gradually. They expect that rollout to be completed sometime next year, so that represents another significant chunk of future ad inventory coming online, diversifying away from just the main Facebook and Instagram feeds.
Okay, got it. So the core is strong, accelerating, and still has growth levers to pull. Let's move to Section V, then the new products and the next computing platforms, starting with Meta AI itself. How's that doing?
The scale is pretty remarkable already. Meta AI, the assistant integrated into the apps, has reached over 1 billion monthly active users.
A billion MAUs already.
Yeah. Again, that shows the power of their distribution. They can roll out a new AI feature and instantly get it in front of a massive audience for testing and iteration, and people are using it.
How can we tell?
Well, they said people have created over 20 billion images using the generative AI features built into their products.
20 billion images created. That's a lot of AI generation happening.
It really is. It shows there's real user demand for these easy-to-use creative tools, and new features are catching on fast. They launched a new AI creation tool called Vibes in September.
Vibes.
Yeah, part of Meta AI. Since it launched, the amount of media generated within the app went up more than tenfold. So these new creative formats can go viral very quickly.
And they're integrating it back into the main apps, too.
Definitely. They mentioned that in the US, most of the time when you ask Meta AI something on Facebook, the response now includes related reels. So it's actively driving people back to the core video content.
Smart integration. Okay,
Yeah.
what about the other side of AI, business AI, the enterprise angle?
That's a huge opportunity, too. The scale there is also mind-blowing. Over 1 billion active message threads happen every day between users and businesses on WhatsApp, Messenger, and Instagram Direct.
1 billion conversations a day between people and businesses.
Yeah. Customer service questions, sales inquiries, support requests. It's a massive volume of interaction that's perfect for AI automation. That's what business AIs are designed for, helping businesses handle those conversations at scale.
And they're rolling this out globally.
Aggressively, yeah. They expanded full availability to businesses in Mexico and the Philippines in Q3 using WhatsApp and Messenger there. These are big messaging markets.
And they're trying to make it do more than just answer basic questions. You mentioned the sales funnel.
Right. They're moving it beyond just support. In the US, they started letting businesses put their business AI agent directly onto their own websites.
Oh, interesting. So the AI can handle the whole journey.
Potentially, yeah. From answering questions triggered by an ad to providing product details, maybe even closing the sale, all potentially handled by the AI integrated on the merchant site. And this focus on driving actual business outcomes is showing up in the numbers.
How so?
Click to WhatsApp ads, revenue ads designed to start a WhatsApp chat with a business grew 60% year over year in Q3.
60% growth. That shows businesses are successfully using ads to drive valuable conversations on the platform.
Exactly. It connects the ad platform directly to the messaging-based business tools.
Okay, finally in this section, Reality Labs. The long-term bet on the metaverse and new computing platforms. How are the AI-powered glasses doing, the 2025 line?
The Ray-Ban Meta and the Oakley versions seem to be selling well. They highlighted improvements people like: better battery, better camera, smarter AI features built in, and crucially, the design.
People actually want to wear them.
That seems to be key, making it a desirable object, not just a piece of tech. It helps build the daily habit needed for future AR glasses.
But the really interesting signal might be the demand for the higher-end, more experimental stuff, like the neural band.
Absolutely. The brand new high-end devices, the Meta Ray-Ban glasses with the actual display, and the Meta Neural Band, they saw really surprising demand. Sold out almost everywhere within 48 hours.
Sold out. The neural band, too. What even is that?
It's a wristband device that uses neural signals for input, a completely new way to interact with computers. The fact that both the high-end display glasses and this novel input device sold out so fast suggests there's strong early adopter excitement.
Not just for basic smart glasses, but for the more ambitious AR interface ideas.
Right. The demand was so high they actually had to increase their manufacturing investment to try and meet it. Demo slots were booked solid for over a month.
Okay, but we need to clarify the Reality Labs revenue picture because it looked a bit confusing. Q3 revenue was way up, but the Q4 forecast is down.
Yeah, that needs unpacking. Q3 Reality Labs revenue was $470 million, up 74% year over year. That looks great.
So why the lower Q4 forecast?
The Q3 number was significantly boosted by channel fill, basically. Retail partners like Best Buy stocking up on Quest headsets before the holiday season. That revenue got booked in Q3.
Ah, so the holiday inventory buildup happened earlier this year.
Exactly. So Q4 revenue is expected to be lower compared to last year for two main reasons. One, they're lapping the launch of the Quest 3S headset, which happened in Q4 of 2024. So it's a tough comparison period.
Right.
And two, that big chunk of holiday stocking revenue already landed in Q3 this year instead of Q4. The new glasses sales in Q4 will help, but likely won't fully offset those two factors. It's more about timing and comparisons than underlying demand weakness.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay, so we have the big picture. Core business strong, huge AI compute investments, new products showing promise. Let's hit the overall financials in Section 6. How did Q3 2025 look at the highest level?
Overall, financially solid, especially considering the massive investment round. Total revenue hit $51.2 billion.
Up 26% year over year. That's strong growth.
Very strong. And operating income was $20.5 billion, which gives them a 40% operating margin. Still incredibly profitable at the core.
But the cost side definitely reflects that strategic pivot we've been talking about.
Oh, yeah. Total expenses were $30.7 billion, up 32% year over year. That's faster growth than revenue.
And the drivers were what we discussed: infrastructure, talent.
Exactly. The main drivers for that expense jump were accelerating infrastructure cost depreciation from all the new CapEx, data center ops, those third-party cloud bills, plus higher legal costs, and that continued surge in hiring costs, especially for AI talent.
How many employees now?
They ended Q3 with just over 78,400 employees. That's up 8% from the year before, with the growth specifically focused on those strategic areas: AI, monetization, infrastructure, and Reality Labs. Expensive hires.
Okay, now we absolutely have to tackle the elephant in the room. That reported 87% tax rate for Q3. That number looks insane. What on earth happened there?
Yeah, 87% definitely grabs your attention. It's a perfect example of how accounting rules can make things look temporarily weird and not reflect the actual cash situation.
So wasn't them paying 87% of their income in taxes?
No, not in cash. That huge rate was almost entirely due to a massive one-time non-cash accounting charge. It was related to a reduction in the value of their deferred tax assets, triggered by changes in U.S. tax law.
Okay, break that down. Deferred tax assets, non-cash charge.
Right. So very simply, a deferred tax asset, DTA, is basically a future tax deduction the company expects to use later. Think of it like a prepaid tax benefit. A big chunk of their DTAs came from how they used to account for R&D spending.
How did that change?
Under the old U.S. tax law, they could deduct the full cost of their R&D investments immediately, lowering their current taxes. The new law requires them to capitalize R&D costs and deduct them gradually over several years, amortization.
So they lose the immediate big deduction.
Exactly. That change means the future value of those deductions they had recorded as assets on their balance sheet is now lower. So they had to take a one-time accounting charge in Q3 to write down the value of those DTAs to reflect the new reality under the new law.
But it's purely an accounting adjustment on paper. Yep. No actual cash went out the door for this.
Correct. It's a non-cash charge adjusting the balance sheet value of those future deductions. Critically, if you exclude that one-time charge, their underlying normalized tax rate for Q3 would have been around 14%, much more normal.
14% versus 87%. That's a night and day difference.
It is, and here's the other key point. Despite that accounting hit, the company still expects to see significant cash tax savings for the rest of this year and in future years because of how the new law actually works in practice for them. The cash reality is actually better than the scary accounting headline suggests.
Wow. So that reported net income of, what, $2.7 billion was massively understated because of that non-cash charge.
Hugely understated in terms of underlying profitability. If you back out that charge, the adjusted net income would have been closer to $18.6 billion for the quarter.
18.6 billion. Okay, that number really underscores the profitability of the core business that's funding everything else.
Absolutely. It shows they have immense financial capacity to absorb these huge CapEx plans without, breaking the bank.
Okay, that clarifies the tax situation. Finally, though, we do need to touch on the risks. There are some significant regulatory and legal clouds on the horizon.
Yeah, those are real headwinds. The regulatory situation in Europe especially remains pretty volatile. They're still in talks with the European Commission about that less personalized ads option they offer to comply with privacy rules.
And the risk is.
The risk, and they stated this explicitly, is that the Commission could still impose more changes. Changes that could have a significant negative impact on their revenue from Europe, potentially as soon as Q4.
So a near-term, potentially large hit to a major market is possible.
It's a material risk, yeah. External regulatory decisions could really hurt European profitability quite suddenly.
And then there's the U.S. legal situation, particularly around young users.
Correct. That's more of a medium-term risk. There are a number of lawsuits related to youth safety and mental health scheduled for trial starting in 2026. Management acknowledged these could ultimately result in a material loss.
Meaning potentially large financial penalties or settlements down the road.
Exactly. It's something they have to factor into their planning, and it's likely contributing to those higher legal expenses we saw this quarter. It's a sort of low probability but potentially high impact risk hanging out there.
Okay. So we've covered a lot. The booming core business fueled by current AI, the absolutely massive investment in future compute and frontier AI, the financial maneuvering to support it, new products gaining traction, and these lingering risks. It really feels like a company operating with immense confidence and resources.
I think that's right. The key takeaway for me is that this huge AI investment isn't just some far-off dream. It's already paying dividends now in the core business. We see it in the engagement numbers, the content freshness, the ad performance.
Right, the immediate ROI is there.
Yeah, and that immediate ROI generates the essential cash flow needed to keep funding the really big, expensive, multi-year gamble on frontier AI within MSL. It's like a self-funding loop for advanced R&D.
Which brings us to our final thought then. Given everything we've discussed, the strategy, the spending, the goal of personal superintelligence, what do you see as their single biggest structural advantage in this AI race?
For me, it boils down to their unparalleled advantage in scale and deployability. Their unique position is this. If MSL develops a truly breakthrough AI capability, say much better reasoning or amazing AI video generation or some totally new content format, they can instantly deploy it.
To 3.5 billion people.
Exactly. Across a whole range of different products, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Meta AI, maybe even the glasses. They can immediately test it, iterate on it, and capture value from it at a scale no other research lab or startup can match.
So the bet is, if they build the best AI, their distribution network guarantees they win, regardless of the exact business model.
Pretty much. Whether the ultimate money comes from hyper-personalized ads or AI-driven commerce via business AI, or maybe even direct subscriptions for advanced AI features through future hardware like the neural band. Their infrastructure and reach ensure they get a massive piece of the economic pie created by that frontier tech.
So the underlying bet is superior AI plus unparalleled distribution, long-term dominance, even if the CapEx makes the next couple of years look financially volatile.
That seems to be the core strategic belief. It's definitely a high-stakes, all-in kind of bet. But as we've seen, it's a bet built on arguably the most profitable core digital advertising business operating today.
A fascinating moment for the company, no doubt. Thank you so much for tuning into the Quarterly Call. For more episodes, please remember to rate and follow our show. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.